Dylan, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Apple. We've got to talk about Apple because it's the most valued company by market cap in the world. It's approaching a level never seen in history at $1 trillion in market cap. Where are we going with this stock in terms of what investors are thinking when you look at that valuation?
So from an investor's perspective, I mean, the main focus over the last few quarters of reporting have been on the iPhone sales and effectively if they can maintain that level of sales and if it can continue to spread. So what we are starting to see now is the new development and new tech that's starting to come out.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out, and I suppose investors are too, is Apple adequately positioned to be part of this next mega trend or this next fourth generation revolution that we're supposed to be seeing,
right,
which is effectively connectivity and Internet of Things. So from a revenue perspective, yes, unfortunately the iPhone sales didn't beat. They were expected to be about 39 billion, came in about 38 billion for the last year on year, the quarter. So what we are seeing in those iPhone sales, we're seeing a large uptake from the Chinese consumer.
Right.
So the biggest smartphone in the Chinese market at the moment is Apple, beating their competitors like Samsung and other Android providers,
right,
which is great news. Unfortunately, that's not part of the next generation tech.
Right.
The next generation tech where Apple are actually beating estimates is in their wearables,
right,
which is like the iPhone, the Apple Watch, and their AirPods. So these are new generation tech, as well as their services, so their paid services that link everything together.
Sure.
So that constitutes as the Internet of Things or the next mega trend that we're seeing. And the first level of this is through wearable devices.
Right. Where is that contribution in terms of total sales at the moment?
They did about $9 billion,
okay.
10% above forecasts in terms of their wearables.
Okay.
So it's slowly, I mean, as you could say, it's maybe a third or just under a third, 25% or 20% of the actual overall iPhone revenue.
Right.
So it's showing that those wearables are slowly coming through, but this is the start of effectively a big trend. We're supposed to be attracting roughly about, so iPhone attracted roughly from that cell phone market, attracted around 6 billion users.
Right.
The next trend should attract about 22 billion users, and that's connected items and connected wearables. And
has Apple made investors greedy? Do you think?
In terms of holding on to their stock? Or?
In terms of its ability to deliver on earnings growth. When you look at back from where the companies come from. So it keeps on performing these amazing feats, and then investors keep demanding more and asking for more. So now here we are, we're saying wearables and these other things should be now contributing even more and more and more. I mean, already this is a company that, as I said, approaching $1 trillion.
Yeah. I mean, from an innovative perspective, I think they've captured the market quite fully in terms of the market that they could capture. So they've done a very good job in that. From an investor's perspective, could they do more? Obviously, I'm sure they could, yes. So the next trend, I mean, in terms of the wearables and services, the connectivity between those devices, that is going to be where the next revenue generation is going to come from. So
what is its valuation right now suggesting in terms of growth potential going forward?
So if you look at it, I mean, this year, if you look at it at current basis, it's trading around $192 per share.
Right.
That's its current share price.
Yeah.
But the actual valuations from say the March figures would have been around $170. So it's actually outperforming in terms of where it should be on a pricing basis.
Yeah.
But looking forward as to where we are and where we could be in the next, I would expect on a full year for 2018 only a 2% increase on the overall earnings.
Yeah.
So it's not amazing. But it's still a bit of growth coming through, and the same for 2019. So my thing is, it's basically going to be an adjustment, I think, from the iPhone side.
Right.
So a decrease in the iPhone sales, or a more of a take-up, or less take-up from these emerging markets like China.
Right.
And a more take-up from the wearables. But the wearables has to be on a larger scale than what it is right now.
Absolutely. Do you see that $1 trillion mark being achieved this year?
Probably not this year, no. Probably not this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe halfway through next year, but it's a race. I think they're definitely competing with Amazon to that $1 trillion mark. But I think Amazon could get there first.